Everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking to founder and CEO Don Finley, FINdustries, FINdustries.co. All right, so let's kind of talk about what you do. Your relationship-focused product development studio. Your expertise sits in the acceleration of revenue growth for organizations through tailoring the right developments to successfully bring the version of our clients into reality. You guys specialize in harnessing the power of blockchain and AI machine learning technologies. Define what that means to a kindergartner.
We help you take the idea that you have on paper and actually turn it into a product. I mean, that's the simplest form of how we go from coloring on paper to seeing your vision alive and well in the market.
Paper to product. Let's talk about how you get the idea, from paper to start to kind of bring it to life.
Yeah. So the technical aspect of what we do is we bring you into discovery workshops. We bring a diverse set of people, both from marketing, from sales, from operations, technology, into the room together to help define, like, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? What does the market look like today? Where are the spaces in the market that we can exploit? Like, we built a commercial lending application that matches borrowers and lenders together. And if you look at like the commercial real estate space, it's heavily relationship focused. So a lot of people have tried to bring Lending Tree into commercial, and that has failed because no residential or real estate developer that I know of wants to receive 50 phone calls the next day after filling out a form. So we built the platform that basically is like, look, we'll walk you through the entire process. We have the people that are there. And if it's 100 different banks that want your business, we'll help you find the one bank that actually really is for you. We'll walk you through that process and get your deals funded. After we do these discoveries, we look at like, how can we build that minimum viable product so that you can actually justify the expense of going through and building, and additionally know that you'll get feedback from your market on what is working, what isn't working, and building out those feedback loops so that you can continually deliver upon what that value proposition is.
Yeah. So thanks for that. And so now, how are you layering AI into all of this? Right. That is everybody. I think everybody's trying to figure out, like, what role in what you just described, what role does AI play? Is it in the paper? Is it in the product? Is it in between? Is it all the parts? Where does that sit?
I think AI fits into every component of this. Like, we'll use AI during the discovery process to take like an ideal customer profile and role play with that. So we can actually build out surveys. We can build out some understanding in a much faster iterative process before we get to sit down with, like, let's say C-level executives. If you're doing a B2B product, we can already run through like those first 10 questions, get an iteration, have a refinement, play, have the AI role play. So if you go into ChatGPT and you say, hey, I need you to pretend like you're this person or you're this role, you can start to have conversations back and forth with somebody who might be in that seat. Additionally, from like an organizational standpoint, we look at it from like a crawl, walk, run perspective. If your organization is just looking at AI, go out and get like a ChatGPT team subscription. Yeah. That way you're not giving your data away in order to, train another model. But additionally, like, you are getting a baseline understanding. AI is a digital transformation, just like we went through e-com as well. You've got to learn how this is going to fit into your environment. And then once we get past that crawl, the walk phase is about eliciting the ideas from your team to understand how those use cases go.
So let's back up. Sorry, go ahead. Keep on going.
I was going to say the run perspective is really about the refinement of those processes that you're bringing in and accelerating the growth of your AI initiatives inside of your organization.
I love it. But let's rewind a little bit, because I still think I want to kind of get an understanding for people on the basics of AI, right? So we were talking a little bit before we went on, using Chat GPT as somebody to have a conversation with. Like you said, we're using AI in the beginning to kind of spur ideas and this and the other. I was at an event a couple weeks ago, and there was 3 very established business people there, and they had never heard of or used ChatGPT. I was kind of shocked. I really was shocked. So kind of talk about, and I have, I think 9 or 10 different chat boxes customized to different things. I use it as a strategic partner. I love it. I consider it a person on my team that I brainstorm with, et cetera. So let's just kind of talk about, because I think what you talked about, paper to products, I think people have a hard time getting it on paper. And I think even something like ChatGPT or Claude.ai, they can actually help people actually get the knowledge and the courage to put it on paper. Let's start there.
100%. And as a business owner, I have probably 3 skills, and there's probably 15 that you need in order to run a business, right? And so when I utilize AI and let's say with ChatGPT, in some cases, I'm the expert and I'm using the AI to help me to build out more of the foundation or more of the details in it. Around some other areas in my business, let's just say marketing. Marketing isn't a strength of mine. I'm using ChatGPT and AI to help drive the direction of where we're going, and then I'm the one who's helping to fill out the details and answer the questions there.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things for people who are not familiar, and even people who are familiar with what's going on in the industry, is getting yourself to play with it.
Yeah.
I was given a talk last week with, I think, 100 executives, C-level executives in technology firms. And one of the main points that I was making is that AI is not going to be solely a technology initiative. It will be a human resources type of capacity.
Yeah.
The way that we look at agentic flows, so using AI to have some autonomy and also to accomplish tasks, is we look at it from a workflow paradigm of if I got a person to do this task, what were the characteristics of that person? What would their goal be in that role? And then give some examples of that task to the AI, and it can fill in that spot.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. So somebody comes to you, they're using AI, they put things on paper, they're coming to you. How do you, when and where do you, when do you with them determine kind of, and what are the stages you go through to determine, is this product the right product, right? Really kind of zooming in to understand what they think may be the product versus what ultimately comes from the process.
Yeah. So early on, we want to see that we can actually 3x the opportunity for them.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to work with relationship-focused firms. One, it's a personal initiative for us. 2, the services-oriented organizations will see the greatest impact from where AI is today. And so we want to be able to map out a process and say that all right, we could actually triple either the output or the effect that this process is having in an organization. 2x is nice, but really at 3x, you start to see a little bit of benefit from going through this, and also the change in workflow. One aspect that we're seeing in people that are implementing AI or companies is that your team is less focused on the tactical initiatives of getting the work done and more focused on the managerial aspects of that work. So for the younger team members, build out capacity in your learning that showcases you have managerial skills, especially when it comes to task-oriented work.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so talk a little bit more about what you do, because you do a lot of different things, solving problems, figuring people out with solutions. What's the process of paper to products with you and your team?
A lot of it comes down to communication, right? So it's about setting up the right framework and flow and bringing the right people into the project at the right times to break that down. Up front, we have a lot of team leads and senior members that come into the discovery workshops. Our discovery workshops run like 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, depending on the problem that we're solving. And this is where we basically interrogate you to pull that information out. And given that it's multidisciplinary, you're seeing both the requirements getting generated, the technical limitations. Okay, so if we are going to attack the problem this way, here's how it goes. And in that frame, we're building out prototypes that you can actually see this. We're conducting some AI marketing surveys as well that allow us to basically level out, like, is this product solving a problem? Can we frame the problem in a way that it is an opportunity for somebody to buy? Once that's complete, you now have like a roadmap for where you are today, what the product will look like, what it's going to take to get it developed, what it's going to take to get to that first release. And then we can build the development team around that so that we can actually get you a product into market and get that feedback flow working. But that's really where we handle that soup to nuts in building out your development team, bringing your product to market, and helping you to launch that as well.
Yeah, and feedback can be a big thing. So what do you do with the feedback, and how do you reverse engineer and evolve, transform, and shape what the feedback is giving? If the feedback is giving you feedback to shift things, how do you begin to shift what the feedback is giving you?
I think one of our most important things is actually listening to our clients.
Yeah.
And it's not just who our clients are, but who their clients are. Because a lot of times we're building a product that meets the needs of their end clients.
Yeah.
And so bringing them into the feedback loop as early as possible, but then additionally ensuring that like we have roadmap space to handle those incremental changes, or that carte blanche, kind of like the pivot that is necessary to make sure you achieve that, like, or to meet the customer's need.
Yeah. I always find that, when you're talking about doing things on the level you're doing, the feedback, sometimes you get such great feedback that can be so simple that it maybe is a sliver that we didn't think about. So you got to go back and adjust and just be kind of, open and flexible to the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I software development is more of the art of translation,
yeah.
Right? Like we take some English that is very not well defined, right? Like there's a lot of context that comes into every statement we make.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get lost in the trees when you need to be looking at the forest while you're actually like so embedded in your idea.
Yeah.
But additionally, finding that feedback from somebody outside of you can get new inspiration for how the product can solve the problem. But additionally, how can you talk to the market about what you're doing and showcasing that?
Yeah. If somebody goes to your website, FINdustries.co, it says, ready for your software to make waves. Leapfrog the market by utilizing our network of 16,000 plus qualified developers, making your software a reality. Define making waves.
That's a great question. I look for those moments, right? Like those moments. So going back to the commercial real estate platform that we built, one of the investors now has 2,000 units. He's, married into a family that does, I think it's like $6 billion a year in commercial development as well. And so he has no need for our product, but he invested because he's like, I really wish this was around when I first started my career. He goes, I got all the financing I need, but this is something that I would want to see. It's statements like that really, embody making waves. Another one of our customers said, he's like, you guys really know how to turn a rowboat into a rocket ship. And like, that's the thing. We move fast. We want to make sure that we're actually getting those feedback loops going. We're listening to those feedback loops, and we're, helping you to add some actual like value to the bottom line.
Yeah. Let's talk about, we talked about feedback, the comment, hey, you guys, you move fast, but then you move fast and you realize, wait, the world in 6 months is going to be changing even faster. And so how do you stay ahead of real time with the change?
I don't think I look at the question like that.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to, how do you stay ahead of change? Everything that we do from the perspective of business, from life, comes back to the human component of it.
Yeah.
Even if you can be 10 times more productive, if you're just productive for machines to be productive, then you're kind of missing out on the boat. But we're really solving basic human needs with anything that we do from a business to business standpoint, or even from a business to consumer standpoint.
Yeah.
Because in the end, there's people that are making these decisions today. There will be people that are always making those decisions. Like, we haven't yet handed the world over to the computers. And I don't think that we will. Even like the big question in AI today is like, how do you keep it aligned with human
Yeah.
behavior and what humanity is looking to accomplish? And so if you just look at like health, wealth, relationships, and status and happiness, right? Like, if you can solve those problems and you're actually engaging people on those emotional needs, then life kind of stays along those same
Yeah.
problem paradigms.
Yeah. I love the conversation, how it came back to, it kind of comes back to the human, right? Making the decision. Because I think that's important in everything with AI and anything that revolves around it. It really does then fall on our shoulders to dissect and use our gut and our intuition to dissect what that data means and that feedback means. And it's another source, and it does it. I think AI is great, but and I communicate it with ChatGPT a lot, but it always comes down to helping me make a better decision, and I ultimately make the best decision, which is what it sounds like your model does. It gets it. It makes it easier for them to intrinsically figure out what they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great. All right. Tell people who your ideal clients are and where they can connect with you, Don.
Yeah. So our ideal clients are the people who are actively using AI in some capacity. So Jon, you're using it in a way that we like to see from our ideal clients. And then we can take your foundation and turn it into product and turn it into something that you can either hand to your clients or that you can utilize internally for your own processes.
Yeah.
We work with startups all the way to Fortune 10 companies. And so it's really about that gear for innovation, and that you have a problem that you want to be solving.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I really do like my mid-market enterprises. They have enough data behind them and a large enough reach with them that they can really see the benefits of this. Plus, they may not be like really working with the Accentures of the world, where you're likely going to have, $1 million project before you even open the door. We want to help you build out your roadmap for AI development. We want to see you in getting this into your organization and utilizing the resources that you already have today to start this digital transformation in your house.
It's great. It's great. Quick speed round. You ready, Don?
Sounds good.
All right. Book that's had a big impact.
God, the first one that came to mind was the Bible. But at the same time, yeah, that's been a huge one in my life.
That's a popular one. That's a popular one.
And that's why I was like, interesting that was the first one.
Yeah.
So,
best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Einstein, the biggest question that you can ask yourself is whether you find the universe to be an unfriendly place or a friendly place. If you find it to be unfriendly, you'll use technology and all your efforts to separate yourself from nature. But if you find it to be a friendly place, you'll do just the opposite.
Yeah, I love that. Finish this sentence. Last question. One thing everybody can do to increase their knowledge of AI today is
start interacting with it.
Yeah, it's great. Tell everybody again how they can connect with you, Jon.
So you can reach us at FINdustries.co, or feel free to email me at don@FINdustries.co as well.
It's great. In community, we've been talking a lot about AI last year and a half. It's a great tool that we all need to, in my opinion, spend 1 to 5 minutes a day playing around with, because if you don't, you won't understand how it works. Right before we went on, Don was sharing a new way for me to use my app, which I couldn't figure out after I took a class on AI. but how to communicate with it verbally, which is really, really cool. So spend every day, a little bit every day learning, and great things will happen. If Don can help you, please reach out to him. If I can help you, please reach out at jondwoskin.com. Don, this was great. Thanks for what you're doing to help get everybody moving forward and using AI to help grow their bottom line. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jon.